Welcome back to Twilight Tattoo. This week, we'll witness the Army's growth and how it emerged on the world stage at the start of the 20th century.
The small frontier army that came into being after the Civil War and helped open the American West would evolve into a larger and more complex fighting force that first appeared on the world stage in the Spanish-American War. Then, in 1917, the Army was called upon to deploy massive formations overseas to defeat the armies of the German Kaiser in World War I. Vicious trench warfare raged across the battlefields of Western Europe, where American soldiers stood side by side with our allies to achieve victory. Sergeant Alvin York, one of America's great heroes of the conflict, reflected on his service as a soldier in what became known as the Great War.
There are those who ask me, you fought to make the world safe for democracy? But what did it get you? Well, let me answer that now. It isn't what I got personally. It's what we as a nation and an army achieved. By joining with our allies and gaining victory in this war, we won a lease on liberty, but not a deed to it. We fought for the right people to be free. Americans have always fought for that right. If we have stopped, then we owe the memory of George Washington an apology. For if we've stopped, he and his soldiers wasted their time at Valley Forge. Liberty, freedom, and democracy are all prizes awarded only to the people who fight for them, and then are willing to fight eternally and to hold on to them.
General of the Army's John J. Pershing founded the United States Army Band in 1922. Today, almost a century later, the Army Band continues to play an important role in events of national and international significance, staging performances in the National Capital Region and around the globe. We now welcome the United States Army Band, Pershing's Own.
The United States Army Band, Pershing's Own, providing the soundtrack for history since 1922. In January of 1922, then Army Chief of Staff, General of the Army's John J. Blackjack Pershing, issued a simple, concise directive. You will organize and equip the United States Army Band. This order was given to Captain Perry Lewis, who quickly realized that he would need to gather the best musicians the Army could find. Very soon after its founding, Pershing's Own gained stature as a superior music organization and has grown from an element of 48 instrumentalists to the thriving organization of almost 250 musicians and support staff you see today. In meeting General Pershing's vision, the band is honored to serve as the premier music organization of America's Army, strengthening the bonds between the Army and the American people, providing strategic settings for international diplomacy, and fulfilling its sacred duty of providing military honors in Arlington National Cemetery. The U.S. Army Band connects the Army with the American people, with engaging performances in a wide variety of settings, producing both captivating live performances and digital social media and live-streamed concerts. The Army Band has cultivated the ability to perform music in every genre, From the current pop rock stylings of the U.S. Army Band downrange to big band jazz from the U.S. Army Blues, from the powerful vocal harmonies of the U.S. Army Voices to the symphonic mastery of the U.S. Army Concert Band. Pershing Zone can pull from its massive musical library and highly trained soldier musicians to prepare special entertainment for any important event, ceremony, educational opportunity, or diplomatic mission. Within the nation's capital, Pershing Zone directly supports the Department of Defense and the federal government at its most senior levels. Soldiers are often called upon to perform music to establish a conducive environment for matters of state and international diplomacy. The expert soldiers of the U.S. Army Strings, the U.S. Army Chorus, and the U.S. Army Herald Trumpets are frequently requested to perform at the White House, the Pentagon, and the quarters of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Among the most prestigious and solemn of the ceremonial band's duties is providing music to honor the men and women who are interred in Arlington National Cemetery. These soldiers pay final respects to their fallen comrades, aiding families in grief and offering a gesture of lasting gratitude for a job well done. From the hallowed grounds of Arlington National Cemetery to the pomp and circumstance of the White House, Pershing Zone represents honor, dignity, and respect, but also knows how to entertain, providing lasting connections between the Army, the American people, and dignitaries from around the globe. The United States Army Band's long-standing commitment to excellence fulfills General Pershing's dream of a premier music organization and continues to evolve to meet the needs of our national government and military leaders. Pershing Zone, providing the soundtrack for history since 1922.
Tune in next time to witness the fighting spirit of our Army and nation as America confronts tyranny around the globe in World War II. Thanks for joining us.